There we go. Everything is down. Literally everything. Bitcoin is down 14.2%. Was like down 15% like a couple of minutes ago. Ethereum's down almost 20%. This Ethereum almost down at 20%, down to 2.2, all the way up from almost 4K, so it's lost like 50% from the tops. This is Solana right now down back to 113. I just picked 3 random ones, really doesn't matter. And it's dumping down like crazy. It's dumping down like crazy, and the question is what's happening. So, but it's not just Bitcoin, it's not just crypto, it's entire market right now, over the book, across the board, everything is down, a whole bunch, and the question is there a bottom? Is this enough fear, and are we gonna go up soon and stuff like that, right? Unfortunately, there are definitely problems on the chart, and the biggest problem is that it's not just crypto, it's across the board, right? So it's markets, it's Asia. I was right now reading mainstream Norwegian news. Asia is down by a bunch, and it just fear across the board, and there is a big sell-off going. Yesterday, just before I went to sleep, I actually made an expanding musical instrument over here on the chart. So it goes something like this over here. This is actually a channel, but the way I drew it was over here, something like this, maybe give or take. And I was thinking like expanding musical instruments oftentimes before the move up, they go into capitulation move. This capitulation move comes below the support level. There was support level, it just dumped down over here. In the last, how many times? In like 6-7 hours, it's down like 16%. This is just the part over here where it actually dumped. So it started bleeding down, big move down over here. Right now we are looking for at least some kind of pullback over here towards the upside. So we're gonna see if that's gonna happen. But we're gonna talk a little bit about what's happening in Bitcoin, because we haven't been, been updated on what's happening for a while. What you're gonna see also here on DXY is also crashing towards downside. So anybody who tells me that Bitcoin and DXY is inversely correlated, F you. Because definitely not. It's definitely not, right? Bitcoin goes down, DXY goes down. There is nothing inversely correlated over here. So we've been looking at this move over here, that this is gonna drop down. It is dropping down, but Bitcoin is dropping down as well. So I really don't like looking at the DXY for seeing whether we're gonna go up or down and stuff like that, right? Stock market right now also pulling towards downside. This is the CME stock market over here on the daily time frame. It's down, I don't know how much it's down, 2-3% up here, 2% towards downside. Nasdaq is down like 5%, which is actually quite a huge dump over here. This is actually 3 days in a row, big dumps. Total is down 11% in 3 days. And the Dow Jones is right now also down a little bit over here towards downside, but it looks better than Bitcoin does. I gotta tell you that it looks better than Bitcoin does, and DJY. But DXY goes down, markets are down, and Bitcoin is down by a whole bunch. And the question is, where is the bottom? Now there are definitely some important levels that needs to be looked at. The problem is, if you look at the moving averages over here right now, hitting this 50 moving average. I even drew the line over here just a second ago, looking at this 50 moving average. This is a major level of support, but we are breaking even that. Now this is a weekly time frame over here, and this is only the first day. This is Monday, so we're just gonna continue going towards downside? I don't think so. At least there will be some kind of bounce. This might be overreaction, some kind of big move towards downside. If you look at a monthly time frame, this is the first monthly candle over here. It is down a whole bunch, but there is still 26 days left. So will this candle close like this, or will it just go down to zero? I don't think it's gonna go down to zero, but it can go down a lot more. Now it is 13% towards downside over here. So the question is, what's gonna happen right now? How's everybody doing in the chat? Paulo, the live is needed. Jagger Mario, how you doing, man? Linda is in the chat. Fine, thanks. Hope you also well. Damn, bro, bad times. What a dump. Yeah, what a dump, guys. What a dump. We are hitting right now this 50 moving average on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, we are below the 200 moving average over here. We crossed that, we pulled back down. Right now we are lower than ever towards downside over here. We still need to hit 44k, and you remember if from the chat that Jules said that we're gonna go to the 44k, so it's gonna be interesting to see whether we get to that point or not. The question is, where is the bottom, right? Now there is no divergence over here. For example, on the weekly time frame, the price is going down, the RSI goes down as well, the momentum is increasing. So on the weekly time frame everything is working well. That means that this move towards downside is pretty much legit right now. The stuff did break a whole bunch of stuff over here. There was this line over here that was kind of holding the support level that actually broke again, right now pulling back towards downside. There is no other way to draw this line over here. Maybe there is, you know, maybe you can draw something like this over here, give or take, something like this, and say that there is a support level, but pretty much there is like almost maybe no way to draw the line. Like over here 45k, I'm gonna go all the way down there, because this was over here previously trend line over here. When we created that, go something like this over here, went below that trend line over here, climbed above that, so this over here trend line is still holding. But pretty much every other trend line on the weekly time frame is kind of broken, regardless of how you actually draw this over here. If you draw something like this is getting broken right now. It was still holding a support over here. Maybe there is this line over here, something like that over here, where we come into some kind of support level. But a lot of stuff is broken. The trend over here is definitely looking like it's curving towards downside over here. There is the channel up here that went something like this over here, but even that is broken. Even this over here is broken. Even this is broken. Like everything is getting broken right now. The question is this you know, the capitulation move, or is this the start of a bigger move towards downside over here? So let's look at a little bit on other stuff on the chart over here. On the weekly time frame, we don't have the very low level that we usually have during some kind of bear markets over here. So if you go to the bear markets, we get below the 40 levels up here on the RSI. Right now we are on the bottom of that level, just before we hit this capitulation move into these very low levels, like 30 levels on the RSI. We are not quite yet there. On the daily time frame, we are extremely extended towards the downside though. On the daily time frame right now, the RSI is sitting at something like you know, 23, which is actually very low for Bitcoin. And if you look at over here, you'll see that, you know, these kind of overextensions don't happen that often. Over here there was a big one over here when we came all the way down to, you know, 18, and then we kind of, you know, zigzag over here, you know, for a couple of more days. So you technically, when you're speaking on the overextensions, this can actually continue for a while. This can actually continue for a while, so you can get extension down here, and you can still continue going towards downside sideways, maybe even consolidate up here and then continue even more towards downside. Depends on how much this actually manages to recover. But right now we are very low. We are right now having 23 RSI on the daily time frame. We are also going below the zero line over here, and my own indicator up here is telling me that overextensions are extreme right now. So look this down here. So you see on the daily time frame, this doesn't happen too often, right? So these kind of overextensions don't happen too often. Like this goes back to this chart goes back to just before the previous bull market, and we had a couple of these very extreme overextension levels. One of these levels came over here during this capitulation phase when we fell down over here. The second one came during the capitulation phase in the bear market up here, just when we hit the bottom. And the third one also came over here when we were going towards downside over here during this couple. But you can see up here that we continue going towards downside before we actually went up. But these capitulation moves, these big moves towards downside, don't happen that often. They don't happen that often, and right now we are very extended towards downside over here from the moving averages. Might be overreaction from the markets, so markets needs to calm down a little bit, at least the way I see it. And again, the biggest problem is that this is not just crypto. Oftentimes when, you know, Bitcoin dumps down like 10-15% or something like that, and the rest of the markets are down like 1-2%, there is not a lot of, you know, fear. That's fine. You know, some kind of manipulation, capitulation, whatever happens, right? The problem is when everything drops at the same time, because then the entire market is fear. And market, as a general rule, you know, takes longer time to recover than just crypto. Crypto is really fast, you know, go up and down. Market, on the other hand, is very slow, especially if there's, because I'm not really good at analyzing market situations, fundamentals, you know, market economy and stuff like that. So understanding what's happening right now in the world with Asia and the reason we are dumping, that a little bit hard. So we're just trying to look at the chart and see whether this is the bottom or not. So if you go to the weekly time frame, we got a 50 moving average up here holding right now very, very nicely. Hopefully that holds. So when we look at a major support levels, over here on the monthly time frame, we are right now coming to that 47 levels over here, give or take 47 levels. This over here, 45, 47 levels. Those are major levels on the monthly time frame over here. We also got a 20 moving average over here, right below us at 42k levels, but these levels on the downside. On the weekly time frame up here, it should be around the 50 moving average and the tops over here at the previous levels over here at 43k. So are we gonna go all the way towards downside over here, or is this enough? That is the big pressure. On the 4-hourly time frame, overextensions are also very, very huge. So I don't know how far we can actually go over here on the 4-hourly time frame. Let's put the line up here. When is the last time we had some kind of overextensions that big? That was not the 4-hourly didn't even that was that big during the dump over here in the bear market. There was one over here when we had this big dump. You can see up here an extreme big dump over here just when this move started capitulation, and it but it did recover a whole bunch after this. Sorry, this is actually the close. The close is over here. Let me see over here. Settings, measure wicks instead of closes. Yeah, wicks actually went a lot lower towards downside over here. So right now we don't have that wick towards downside. Our wick is all the way down there. But this wick over here went, overextend down to, minus 29 over here to minus 30% towards downside. This move towards downside up here was minus 35%, and right now we are at something like minus 18%. So can we put, if this continues, we can definitely push down more. The question is where is the bottom, right? On the 1-hourly time frame, there doesn't seem to be any kind of pattern. On 4-hour time frame, there doesn't seem to be any kind of pattern. On these very, very small time frames, still don't see any kind of pattern up here. There's a lot of there has been a lot of selling on both of these big moves towards downside over here, but hopefully this is going towards downside. But these are very, very small time frames. We still don't have any kind of pattern. This is just straight line down, and oftentimes these straight line downs they do tend to create some kind of bottom eventually, some kind of pattern or some kind of time frame. But we don't have anything right now, so the market needs to either V-shape recover over here, or it's gonna find some kind of bottom, do something like this up here, and then recover towards upside. But we don't see right now that any of those things right now, and this pullback right now that's happening a little bit over here towards upside is not actually that strong. So there is not a lot of volume, so it is still bleeding towards downside. I definitely see that we can actually go lower than this over here, but the question is how much lower and where we are going, right? So right now we're hitting this 50 moving average. Hopefully this 50 moving average holds the level over here right now, but a little bit unsure whether that's going to be the case or not. Let me see over here if there is this line over here that right now, maybe there is because it's not this over here. It's let's go to 3-day time frame over here. Now, regardless of how you actually draw it, everything is broken. You gotta take these bottoms down here, but that's also broken up here. So right now it's kind of just hopium, where the bottom is gonna be, But this very, very bad candle. Hopefully we do something recovery over here. Last month we also was down to like 53k, and we recovered all the way up to 21%, 64k by the end of the month. So we got still 26 days left. We're gonna see how that plays out. AP is going to zero for sure now. It's even possible to recover from here. Everything is possible. 12 hours too early. Bitcoin 100k, RSI divergence on 50-minute chart. Yeah, but RSI divergence on 50-minute chart. Let's see over here. RSI divergence on 50-minute chart. Yeah, technically no. Maybe it is. But it is very, everything is very, very overextended towards downside. But the problem with overextensions and divergence and stuff like that is when stuff goes down and there is a lot of fear in the market, the support levels don't hold, everything breaks, and everything continues going towards downside. All the divergences, they don't play out. We already know that the divergences are, they are very weak indicator of anything. in some kind of stable markets, like sideways market, the RSI divergences can be very helpful. Unfortunately, in very trending markets, the divergences don't matter, overextensions don't matter, nothing matters. The only thing that matters is the patterns on the downside to see where the bottom is, right? So we gotta see something, and right now we don't see anything of that kind right now on the bottom side. Even over here there is no divergence and anything like that, but it is dropping like a brick towards downside up here, hitting this 50 moving average. And you'll see also over here that previously that 50 moving average, as soon as we came above the 50, that was the support level. The question is whether that's going to be the support level as well. Also major support level down here at 43, 44k. So we're going to see whether we hit that. Right now Bitcoin is down 13%, Ethereum is down even more. Ethereum is down almost 20% towards downside over here. It's breaking everything towards downside, coming to this again to these levels up here at the top, at 2k over here. You'll see that that's the first major level of resistance right now, coming back into those levels over here. But everything is overextended like extremely towards downside. Let me see how much overextensions do we have on the weekly time frame on the so you see over here, here is also the big problem that if this is some kind of, if we had been in some kind of top of the bull market, assuming that this was the top of the bull market, then the weekly RSI should go down to these low levels down here at 20, right? Because in the bear market up here, these low levels come. Now we don't have these low levels over here still just yet, unfortunately. And if this is gonna go lower over here, then it's gonna definitely go into the 20 levels again before it goes up. So, you know, we can't be just bullish just yet when it comes to these very, very, you know, low bottoms. But what we can do is say that, yeah, this you know, 30, 40 levels RSI right now is getting hit. This oftentimes is some kind of, you know, bottom before the big move towards upside over here every single time. So we are at that level again. We are not on the bottom where we are, you know, blue balls and stupidly bullish, but, you know, we do have some kind of, you know, support levels and support levels on the RSI that should indicate that we are coming very, very close to the bottom. Now, whether it is the bottom or not, we don't have anything yet. It's a little bit too early to talk about bottoms. We can talk that, you know, it's the 50 moving average is going to bounce from over here. It is overreaction on the markets and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we don't have anything yet. Like even a 1 hourly candle over here, this is just going straight down. Like it's still not stopping, right? And we can go into the very, very small time frames over here. This is just 5-minute time frame, but it's still dropping down. We don't have any kind of pattern, any kind of reaction, anything just yet. So we need to see something more confident that we can say, okay, it is done. So I don't think it's done just yet. DXY over here, let's go DXY to the 4-hourly time frame. It's pulling up a little bit over here, but it's been dropping down like crazy. The stock market is still dropping down. Let's look at the stock market over here big time. This 4-hourly, it's coming down back down to 18 levels over here. Last time it came down, we had some kind of pullback towards upside. Let me see bigger. Daily up here on the stock market is coming back down to 30 levels over here. Last time, you know, the 30 levels on there on the stock market are oftentimes some kind of bottoms. Well, this wasn't over here, but this fast move. The most bullish reasons why we should be bullish is because it goes too fast towards downside. Oftentimes when stuff goes too fast, that often recovers also very nicely. The problem is when it goes very, very slowly towards the downside, right? These slow moves towards downside on the RSI, they are the ones that actually can, you know, go very, very low. Big fast moves don't go that low. If you go something like this, go very fastly towards the downside, they don't actually go, they don't push the price that low. The slow moves do push the price down a lot towards the downside. Weekly time frame up here right now, sitting at something like 50 levels over here, pulling back. Now, if you look at a bigger picture over here, this is the S&P 500, and we can go to the monthly time frame over here. The monthly time frame is still, you know, on the bigger picture above the 10 moving average. The Nasdaq over here is just breaking the 10 moving average, still holding some kind of support level. This is just the very first move towards the downside up here. The Dow Jones is still haven't broken the 10 moving average. So if you look at a monthly time frame on the bigger these markets over here right now, stuff is not broken just yet, right? Stuff is not broken just yet. So the question is, if this market panic that's right now happening, is it actually, you know, legit? So the way I see it right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else right now is crashing like 20% towards downside. It's crashing like 20% towards downside and not more. Everything is like down 20%. So if this is a black swan event, and I don't know if but it's a black swan event because it was kind of looking like everything's gonna drop down. I am thinking right now that the reason right now we are having this big crash is because what's happening in Asia on the markets right now, and I don't know if we have anything because USD yen forex. GPY, Japanese yen. So dollar is dropping down versus the yen over here right now towards downside. But I'm a little bit unsure what's happening in stock markets in Asia right now and why people are actually panicking. That said, there is no corona. The World War III won't happen just yet. I don't know if you've been following what's happening in Middle East and stuff like that, right? I don't think it's gonna happen just yet. And but there is definitely a lot of fear in the market. So this is something, I think this is something else. I don't think this is a World War III dump. I don't think this is, I think it's just some kind of overextension towards upside and then fear in the market because of people are talking about the yen and Japanese yen, and they're talking about the Asian markets because of this buying and selling of the yen. I don't understand that. That said, markets should calm down eventually because there is no World War III, there is no corona. Everything is like it was yesterday, a week before that. It is panic in the market, but this panic don't last for too long, especially if there is no World War III, if there is no corona, if there is no something, you know, something else right now, you know, if there is no big events or something like that, these things don't last too long. That's the thing, right? So it should calm down. The market sell-off should calm down. The people will, you know, need a little bit time to figure out what's happening, and as soon as actually that's done, must be the Iran thing with Israel. Yeah, but it's not the Iran thing with Israel. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Can the World War III, you know, start tomorrow? I mean, it technically can every single day, but you know, I just don't see it right now. But the markets needs to calm down a little bit. Markets needs to, especially people in crypto market, we don't panic, right? We are like, it's down 10 to 20%. What's happening with the stock market, right? But people in the stock market are very, very panicky, and they don't understand the charts and they don't understand market cycles and stuff like that. And they panic really easily, and they need a little bit time to calm the F down and figure out, okay, it's not as bad as it looks like, right? So there is that, right? Something needs to come in, and as soon as that actually happens, we will see it on the charts. Now, let's go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is recovering over here a little bit. 5-minute time frame up here, but it's not recovering that much, but it's recovering a little bit over here. The 50 moving average on the, I think the 50 moving average is the best thing we have right now. I think that is the best we think we have. The 50 moving average and the support level over here on the weekly and the monthly time frame. There is no monthly time frame up here. Monthly is a little bit higher than that. Monthly is all the way up here, but the weekly and monthly up here, these levels down here, those are the best that we have, including the 50 moving average right now. But I think the market needs to calm down a little bit. People in the stock market need to calm down, and they oftentimes use a little bit of time. Maybe this week, stuff like that, you know, because if this week continues dumping and the next week continues dumping, that means something could be very, very wrong with the markets. We already know the markets are very extended towards the upside, but the big dumps don't come. The big dumps don't come on the move down over here. So if you look at over here on the weekly time frame, the big stump comes when it breaks. Okay, over here we are breaking already, but big stump comes when you are actually falling down. So over here you break towards downside. Over here, these are the big dumps. When you have some kind of line that goes down, some kind of trend over here, when you get some kind of trend that goes down and you break that, that's when you have the big dumps towards downside, especially in the stock market, right? Over here we have just this very first move right now towards downside over here, where we might be creating some kind of low over here or something like that, and then you have some kind of trend down. It's when you start breaking this downtrending line towards downside, that's when the big big dumps happen in the stock market, right? And everything else. Over here, this was a little bit different. This is Corona dump over here towards downside, March 2022. It goes up, and then you have the big move down over here. But these initial dumps up here, they are not actually that bad. The bad part comes when your stuff starts going, sideways up here, and then you have some kind of move up here, and then you have these capitulation moves. These capitulation moves tend to be very, very violent. But right now, I don't see that. I see the only thing I'm seeing right now is this very, very first move towards downside up here, especially on monthly time frame up here. The very, very first move towards downside up here. So there should be some kind of recovery eventually, right? Even though it's a big move up here from the tops towards the bottom up here, it is pulling back down over here, but it's still holding certain levels. The market is overreacting the way I see it. There is a big sell-off, and the question is when it's gonna be done. Now, unfortunately, we don't have it just yet. Again, we don't have anything just right. This is just 1 hourly time frame. 1 hourly time frame is gonna close in 8 minutes. We still got this big wick towards downside up here, big red candle up here, just like this candle over here, this one as well. And after that, it just continued dumping down. Can you do again another one of these, triple bottoms up here and then go towards upside? Could we have another, I don't know what's that right now, another 10% down? Could we see Bitcoin down minus 20% today? It could happen, but you gotta understand, being down 20% on a day is a different feeling than being down 20% over the 20 days. 43k coming. I don't know, man. It just might happen. It just might happen. I still believe in Bulaga. We'll see under 50k. Land of year. I see Bitcoin bouncing. Why is volume really low on the monthly chart? Volume depends on where you look at, but volume is actually very, very low over here. It was quite high. I don't know, maybe because they manipulate the seller, because nobody's selling. Everybody's holding. That's why the volume is low. I don't know why the volume is low, but it is definitely low. It is definitely low. Unfortunately, this is out of the crypto hands. Like when stock markets are not dumping down, when they're just going sideways, and only Bitcoin is going down, we know what's going to happen next, right? Unfortunately, right now it's a little bit hard to figure out what's going to happen next because stock markets are going down. Look at XDC weekly chart about to explode. What's XDC? Canadian dollars. It's still going down against the dollar. There is that Norwegian crowns, NOK USD, should be going down like crazy as well. This move is very bullish for Norwegian crown, so maybe that can happen. Can you look at waffles chart? Nah, why would I look at waffles? Who cares about waffles, man? Bitcoin's down like 20% and you want me to look at waffles. XDC in crypto, and we don't care. Bitcoin down 12%, Ethereum down 70%. It's not over just yet, ladies and gentlemen. I don't actually have anything to tell you that this is over or not. Daily time frame up here. This is Ethereum up here. It's still getting this bottom down here. We are at very, very low levels. That is very, very good. Unfortunately, not quite sure whether it's over or not, right? Because I'm looking at this overextend, like over here on Ethereum, it is down at 10, like it is very, very low. Like everything is overextend towards downside. The problem with overextend, let me tell you the problem with overextensions. When you have overextensions, these are very good indications that stuff is about to bounce, because these overextensions happen oftentimes during manipulation, huge euphoria, huge fear in a very short time period, right? Now it's a little bit different right now because the fear is based on the stock market as general rule, right? So people need to wake up. It's only Monday. They need to wake up. They need to figure out what's happening. They need to stop selling. They need to figure out, this and that. They need to get some kind of news, and it's, market stabilizes a little bit, unfortunately, right? But the problem is right now that this is not just, any kind of, sudden dump, 20% dump, because that would recover immediately towards upside. These overextensions right now can persist for a while. And we don't see, and the thing that is, the way I see it, most reliable when it comes to figuring out the bottom, or where the bottom should be, or where the where the local bottom is you get some kind of patterns on the 1 hourly, 4 hour time frame. You get some kind of recovery, you get something that gives you some kind of indication that okay, this might have been it. Over here we got something over here that needs to be bounced over here above certain levels. We just might be at those very, very low levels where we need to get some kind of bounce, but we still need something else, right? On the small time frames we are extremely overextended. Especially on these 4 hourly time frames, like we are extremely overextended towards downside over here, and the bounce definitely can actually come right now. If there was no market crash across the board in Asia right now, I would say this is it. Like it's down, it was Bitcoin was down 15%, Ethereum was down like 20%, massive fear in the market. I would say this is the bottom, right? Unfortunately, I cannot say this right now. Although I would like it to be bottom, I cannot say it is the bottom right now on this move towards the downside. So we gotta just kind of wait it out a little bit and see how this happens. But it's pretty, it is very, very low. It is definitely overreaction, at least when it comes when you look at it when we look at it and on the crypto charts. It is definitely overreaction, like 20% down on Ethereum in 1 day. So you go up against Suarez bull run over already. It could be over, I don't know. It's always over, This is just a this is just Fugazi, crypto is Fugazi, Ethereum ETFs, lower low, guys, lower low in the bull market. Ethereum, lower low in the bull market. Maybe Ethereum is dead, guys. Maybe Ethereum is dead. Bitcoin, just barely higher high, just barely higher high. It's over. And they're talking Bitcoin is gonna be like 50 million in 10 years. So there is that. This is the chart of Ethereum Bitcoin right now, coming back down to this bottom over here again. The dominant chart of Bitcoin is exploding to the blue levels over here. This is the blue stuff. This is the resistance level. Now Benjamin Cohen said we're gonna go, Bitcoin dominance is gonna go to 60% right now. I think 57 to 58, based on technicals, should be be major resistance level. Up here it's already breaking towards upside. Can we hit 60 levels on there on Bitcoin? I mean, technically we can, right? Right now it's up like 0.66%. Ethereum Bitcoin chart is down all the way down to the bottom in this channel, bigger channel towards upside again. Total trick over here. These lines are a little bit off, but it's pulling back down heavily down here. Monthly time frame, 50 to 20 moving average. If this isn't the bottom down here for the total crypto market, I don't know what's gonna be. So there is that. But we are very close to the bottom. Now here's the thing, what I'm expecting right now. I'm expecting for Europe to wake up. Even I had to wake up. I don't know why I woke up. I should not be waking up at 7:30 a.m. on a Monday, because Monday is my day off. And US is still asleep. I don't know. It's maybe in the middle of the night for US. So this Europe and US needs to wake up. They need to figure out what's happening. The stuff, this massive fear of selling needs to stop. Some kind of bullish news needs to come out. And as soon as that comes out, we will see recovery. We already see recovery over here right now towards the upside. Maybe this is start of the V-shaped recovery over here. Maybe there needs to be a certain level that needs to be broken up here above 53k level or something like that. This is on small time frames. This is 5-minute time frames, but we need to see some kind of level above 53. Let's say 54k to be sure right now. If we get above 54k over here, we there is a good chance for further recovery up here towards upside. Because if this goes over here, above this line over here towards upside, and this downtrend over here is technically broken, at least in this part over here. There is a bigger downtrend over here that goes something like this that needs to be broken as well. It goes over here. There you go. That's the line. So eventually it needs to get above 56, 57. But the first move should be over here above 54k levels, and we need to watch for that. But just more waiting. Today is gonna be a very exciting day to see how the markets are react. Do read the news, because right now the news are very interesting about what's happening in Asia and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the dump, is it done just right now? down here at you know, 48k. We are below 50k. 48k, that's very, very low. That's very, very low. Now we get our major support levels down here. We don't have to hit the major support levels. If you do hit major support levels, these are overextensions like you know what over here. But you know, 47, 45, 43 levels towards the downside of here might actually happen. But it just might actually bounce over here from these levels as well. It is pretty big move for one day. So you know, there is that. It is extremely big move for one day. In fact, like these kind of moves don't happen just every day. So a lot of fear in the market. You can also see, where is it? I'm gonna show you something over here. Fear and greed index right now is 26 at fear. We are not at extreme fear, but we are again at fear. So see up here, this was actually this over here was extreme fear, and right now we are at extreme fear again. So we are again at these very, very low levels down here again. And everybody's in fear. Yesterday was fear. Today is definitely extreme fear. But you know, the indicator is not updated. It only updates every 24 hours, so you need to wait until tonight. But we are definitely there. Anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. This was just a quick update on what's happening, which is not much. It's there's a lot of overextensions, there's a lot of dumping, and I think a lot of overreactions are happening. But the bottom over here, at least for this move, is close, and then we have to see how the reaction comes. If the reaction is very, very bad, then it might be a bigger dumps towards the downside. You know, we go back to the bear market, 20k Bitcoin. Now we're gonna see how this plays out. Guys, take care. Bye bye. Where is my outro?